Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Island of the Lost. It's been a little while, but we're happy to be back, and I hope you're happy to see us. We're going to kick things off with Phil here, or
Mhm.
also known as Daw, the speaking tree. He is volunteered to give us a recap of last session, so let's hear it, Phil.
Welcome back to the Lost Island within the Ring of Fire, a secluded, tiny volcanic island whose inhabitants are held captive by a large pirate band of storm sharks, of sirens, who make a visit to the island once per cycle, once per 77 days, and the day of their return is soon approaching for our intrepid adventurers who have overcome many obstacles and overcome many, like, the obstacles within themselves as well as the rest of the island. The cast of characters is varied and some would consider a little odd. Uh, and there has been some contention growing within our small band. O'Neill, the sort of the one who the rest of the group could protect, the the person who many of the people in our small band would consider a child needing protection. It turns out that this diminutive figure is in fact a murderer, a cannibal, who has been hunting down the other denizens of the island and giving them a brutal end. Uh, However, with the discussion with the rest of the band, it wasn't her choice. It's part of her nature, part of her species's, just a flaw put in them by their dark creators. So it has, it's come to a head as the party discovered this, and just as we had buried the body of the victims that we had found and tried to discuss what to do next and what sort of justice could be done for the betterment of everyone, we were attacked by large, lithe, slimy skinned salamanders, servants of the god of fire, who once took our friend and told us that they'd sailed away, but now a sneaking suspicion has come that he was slain and eaten by these foul beasts. And my character, uh, Da Kakapishichichi Bimarchia, is currently being attacked, which is incredibly disconcerting for him, as he knows these people can produce fire from their foremost appendages and possibly from other areas of their bodies as well, hopefully not with projectiles. Uh, and this is especially disconcerting for him, as he is made entirely out of tree, being a Grendel of an oak troll, the descendant of a immortal oak tree. So he is not looking forward to this fight, and is considering his options. He's in a fight or flight response currently, and flight isn't necessarily an option, as he is often quite literally rooted in the ground and being incredibly slow. Luckily, he does have his friends around him, who I will pass off of to describe their characters in this moment, in a clearing in the wood with dappled sunlight, uh, as the day draws to a close after the events of the long night. And we are currently surrounded, as the horrors of the long night have given way to the horrors of the shining sun, unfortunately. So, yeah, I'm going to pass it on to, I guess, the Flame Tender's choice.
Um, right now, where we stand, you are you're actually separated from the group at this point. I know you had to leave the last session, so you kind of missed Phil in.
Oh no! Oh, wait,
Yeah,
so I was grappled and taken away.
yeah,
No, my
you were
friends. No.
Basically, what had happened, just to give, I'll take over the what happened now because you weren't there, so you couldn't know. But what had happened was you guys defeated the salamanders who
Oh,
were
good.
after you and returned to the village. And then when
I was whisked away.
everything was settling down, you went to go speak with your grandfather tree, and then that's where we will actually we'll start that scene for you right now
Oh,
to let
well,
you have a
lovely.
scene with your grandfather tree before we
Oh, good.
before I
Oh,
go on and
good.
spoil anything else.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, yeah, everything right now. Yeah, so we're gonna just play that prologue out, if you will, of
All right.
the calm before the storm. So that's where our scene is gonna start this time. So with that, I will let you describe your character as you go to talk to your grandfather tree in as much detail as you please. Um, it is late evening right now
Like
when you're
late
going
evening
out.
currently.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Hey. So yeah, my so Da is a hunched figure, though while still hunched, he is uh just as uh he's just as tall as many of the other members of the species which surround him. He is he walks slowly and deliberately, and he leans upon a large staff, uh, and his face is completely covered by a mask which he has recently made. It's just plain tree bark. He hasn't painted anything on it yet. He sometimes paints eyes on it to give people, yeah, basically something to look at while they're talking to him. But little as you know, it's usually just that much more disconcerting. He currently is wearing clothes of mostly very, very old cotton rags laid upon each other, as serving as sort of a shawl. He has a long grass skirt, as well as a large grass hat. Um, Again, leaning on a incredibly large but yet artistically carved staff. His long bowed, um, yeah, he's long. He clasps it with like long fingers on like bowed arms, which is covered in what looks to be like lichen and like parasitic fungus on oak. Uh, as he hasn't had a chance to clean or wash himself in some time, so he's been steering clear of the ocean because he's been told there are sharks there. Uh, so small fungal and quasi vegetable fungi sort of things have begun to take hold, and he's looking more disheveled. With he currently still has 2 levels of exhaustion, um, having not had a chance to rest since he ran all the way through the forest to try to help his friend. So he tiredly, slowly lumbers, um, which is a bit just a word which I don't think I should have used. Damn it. Um, out towards where he knows the only oak on this island is, where he plans to spend a couple days of rest.
As you approach the grandfather oak again, before you can say a word, when you're barely in earshot of the tree, the eye in the middle opens again and the voice echoes out, greeting you. I am aware of what has happened. The Dark One has shown her true colors, and yet you still call her friend.
Yes, grandfather. I'm not using. I'm gonna be steering away from using my character voice because it takes me a very long time to say anything. As does grandfather, who takes even longer. So this short interaction take about like 10 minutes.
Do you still desire to teach her the path after knowing this knowledge? Or have you seen the error of your ways?
I do not think the path would suit her. I do not
Good.
think that it would be wise. Yet, I must be true to my heart, for she is still my friend.
I
And
cannot. I cannot fault you for following your emotion, but I can fault the choice and companions that you have selected.
Hmm. It was a choice that I made when I had no other choices. Uh, it was band together or die. And I still yet have much to give to Yilnog, as I have cost her too much.
And the presence of the followers of the gods that you associate with as well.
This concerns me. As far as gods go, Rosura seems palatable. He kind of shrugs.
You kind of like lets out like a long, drawn out grunt of like disapproval as you say that.
Yeah, he kind of shifts from foot to foot like he's getting scolded. It does. Yeah, it takes him longer than like a kid would, but like he's yeah he knows like he was like he's kind of arguing his friend's point and trying to be like, come on, granddad, they're okay, but he
Basically, he's pretty much giving you that thing where it's like he's not said anything yet, but he's like, "You should know better," type thing.
yeah he's not he knows he's in for a scolding. He's only what 900 cycles. That's nothing to an immortal.
Do not allow them to taint your understanding of the world.
I I will be vigilant, grandfather.
Good. You still have much to learn. You should continue on your path and continue to learn, but know that every mistake you make and every misstep you take will echo for thousands of cycles to come. Your every footstep you take changes the soil beneath you, and every breath you take changes the air around you, and every companion you choose changes the lives of all you will ever interact with in a nigh endless ripple.
Yeah, like he's kind of shifting from foot to foot, being like, I fucked up. Um, but yeah, he nods in agreement, um, and says, I will be more vigilant and I will be more wise.
Someone comes.
I will protect the tree, as I then, uh, as then I like kind of, I guess, roll perception to see where. Um,
There will be no role necessary as they are blatant and not trying to hide.
oh,
As
okay.
a large group of about 12 salamanders begin to
Ah,
slowly surround the tree. Like,
ah,
um, one of them stands ahead of them all. He is 8 feet tall and roughly 12 feet long. He's gray with red stripes. And he steps
okay.
forward to you. You. He speaks in Thraxa, actually.
Oh wow. Okay.
He's like, you orc, your kind are rare here.
Okay. Um.
Surrender now.
Looks like don't have much of a choice. Um. Looking at my grades in Sing, can I yell for help? I have no grades in Sing. Damn it!
No, you are significantly far from the village at this point.
Ah, no. Okay. Um. I'm going to attempt to roll uh, a Why do I even bother? I'm going to attempt to roll a diplomacy check to say, please leave me alone. I mean you no harm. But since I have -3 in it and no skill, let's see what happens. Oh, good. That's only a -4.
All right, I don't even have to roll for him. He literally cannot roll lower than that.
Yeah.
All right.
God, physically possible. Alright, so he's like, he Da sort of with a -4 diplomacy. Kind of, yeah. He just kind of just sits down and then just starts to pout like, "Go away." Like he's had enough. He's exhausted. He actually no, actually got -6 because he's getting -2 to everything. So he just sits down. He's like, "Go away." Like he sounds like he's on the verge of tears. Like, no, no, it's not fair. So yeah, that's what a -6 in diplomacy, I guess, looks like.
You and your ilk have killed Gorfall, son of the fire. You will be made to pay.
I didn't kill anyone.
You recall that your group, when you were defending yourselves, your group had killed all the salamanders there, and one of them in
Oh,
particular was rather large and like
the
pitch
one that I
black, like
smashed
ebony
his
black.
face. Oh,
Yeah,
him. Okay.
yeah.
And then I remember, and so Daz, I didn't kill anyone. Oh no, wait. He's like, oh wait. In
You
Thraxa,
see,
being like out loud.
four of the salamanders approach you, with one of them wielding a pair of iron manacles.
Oh, okay. Iron.
Hmm.
I don't like metal. Um. Okay, so Daz going to stand up and I guess back away from them four. While
As you
turning
back
to
away, more of them start closing in a circle around you.
all right. I'm gonna say to he's just gonna give in and turn to the leader and say, "There is no need for this. I will come willingly."
He nods, and then you're dogpiled by a bunch of salamanders.
Oh, okay,
These
yeah,
creatures weighing a couple 100 pounds each, like 300-400 pounds each,
I've
and they
got
just
28.
over you.
Does that? Are there more than 8?
There's about four of them on top of you. They're not
I,
like putting their full body weight crushing you, but they're holding you down.
all right. I kind of want
Yeah.
to roll defense because I'm pretty good at it. I reckon I can stay standing for like a round.
All right,
Just
you can go ahead and we can roll
just to
that
see.
out.
Just to see. Just to see.
All right. Yep. Go ahead. That's fine.
Um. All right. So yeah, the first one has to do like a strength brawl, I guess.
Yeah.
Unarmed. Oh, sick. So I get a 28 for my defense.
Yep. He got a 13. So,
All right.
um,
Shit, I should have done parry. Fuck.
the first one lunges at you, but describe how you want to evade this large creature, this lumbering creature as it comes for you.
Oh, Da. His whole defense thing is the fact that he just he has the option which many oak trees don't, the option to sway. A lot of times, an oak tree will stand against the wind till it breaks. But with he's learned to be as the flowing river, which is essentially an orc fighting style, where you basically just sway as if you were a reed in like a current. So you dodge the things which are around you. So he gets so basically he lunges and then he just sort of like half falls, um, and then like sort of rights himself. And when he lands, he's no longer there. Like it was incredibly graceful for someone who is usually so incredibly slow. He doesn't move fast, but he moves incredibly purposefully. So that's his like sort of style. And like he's not even using the staff to like parry things yet, because he's like trying to be like, don't attack me, please. I don't want to. All right.
The first one, he grasps at you, but you're able to sway with the moves like a flowing river out of the way, and then another comes.
Yeah. All right. Rolling for that one. That's not too bad. I got a 17. I don't know.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm minusing 2 to everything because of exhaustion, so it's only a 15.
Yes, you beat him by 1 point, no less.
Ooh.
As you sway again to the side, and then he lunges forward. They're like actually like stumbling onto each other, creating a dog pile, if you will, on each other. Then another one comes at you with double eights on his roll,
Jesus.
and
Okay.
then another
yeah.
8, and then
Fuck. Fuck. Dude, I'm not even kidding. Holy shit.
Wow.
Wait. I couldn't make this up if I fucking tried.
what did you get?
Fucking suppression.
Yeah, he got a grand total of 37 with 3 8s total. By the way, just for your reference.
Only, sorry, a 16.
All right, so he puts you to the ground. He comes up behind you, takes your legs out from under you, and like picks you up into the air, slamming you face first into the ground. And then as you're on the ground, he gets on your back and slaps these manacles upon you, these cold iron manacles, as you're face first in the dirt.
I get -1 to everything again.
And then
he comes in.
And then the leader looks down at you on the ground.
Yeah.
And says, "You should not have resisted." And then he begins chanting in Morghulish. Do you speak Morghulish?
No, sir.
He begins chanting in Morghulish, and it sounds like the crackling of flames. And you don't have a clue as to what he's doing as he raises his hands to the sky, and you see his eyes begin to glow red.
Yeah, shit. Could I?
And then,
Okay. Could I quickly roll like? I don't know. I want it like I want to try to see what he's doing before he hits
you
me
can
with
roll
it.
a theology to kind
Yeah,
of identify
roll a theology.
what spell he's casting, what ritual he's casting. I mean,
Good. It's an. Oh, I rolled an 8 for that as well. Yay! But it wasn't a suppression that time. Bloody stupid. Yeah. It's a 20.
all right. You are aware he is casting a ritual from the fire precept known as Pillars of Flame.
Oh, fuck! This is gonna hurt like a bit.
And then you see 3 pillars erupt all around from the sky. A flame rains down, but none of it touches you.
Okay.
It all touches your grandfather tree.
Shut the
As it flames, but 3 pillars rushing down upon it as you see the eye opens again and screams out in Thoraxa, "Worry not, spirits never truly die." As you see the tree is slowly engulfed in flame, as one of the salamanders goes and sits inside the flame next to the smoldering tree, as you're dragged off into the wilderness by these salamanders.
No. Did they at least let me get to keep my staff?
No, they left your staff behind.
Ah, shit. Okay. So I just get to sit and watch fucking grandfather burn. Right.
You don't even have the privilege of doing that as they drag you off and you just see the flame slowly fade in the distance as they drag you deeper
Remember,
into the
I
jungle.
see through my staff.
Oh yeah, your staff. Never mind.
I am confronted through my failure.
Oh,
And
no.
even as I'm dragged off, I can't bear to tear my gaze away from how badly I fucked up.
And then we will fast forward a bit of travel of roughly a day later.
Yeah.
Before we go back to the others, they drag you back to the volcano, and they drag you through the caves, this winding cave network, and you see they drag you into a room with a lake of lava, and in the center of that lake is a small narrow bridge of stone
Oh,
that looks somewhat natural but also somewhat unnatural at the same time. It's not
oh,
of bricks, but it's of solid stone, and it
yeah.
just goes straight into the middle of the room, where there's almost like there's a like an altar in the middle of the room on a small island of stone, and they drag you to this altar and chain you to it with iron. They chain your neck to it. And then the
Shit.
leader looks down upon you and says in Thraxa again, "We shall wait for your fellows now."
Oh, fuck. Okay. There's no way of me getting a message to them, is there?
And then
Is that
we shall
stuff?
cut back to the group. You had
No.
left off. You had just saw the grandfather tree ablaze, the salamanders threatening Daw's life should you extinguish the fire. And you have all been forced to return, heads hung low, as Daw's grandfather tree burns, Daw nowhere to be found, and you've all been forced to return to the village to make preparations for a rescue. And I will let Rockbeak take it away with a description of his character.
Well, Rockbeak is a very small, 5 foot tall turtle. I mean, Chthon. Don't call him a turtle. He's Chthon. Um, he's naked except for a little makeshift belt that goes around him that holds his kissing stick and his war pick. Both are firmly in his champion belt. Um, he is scarred and battered. His skin, his leathery hide, um, scarred over from many battles. His hard shell is held together and cracked and held together by iron plates riveted into his shell. Same goes with his face and his chest, his body. Um, he has one eye. The other is an empty socket that gazes into people's souls. he he is walking with his hunting spear, joining his companions back in the village to make preparations for the rescue mission. As he is rather distraught. Not only is Da kidnapped, but the grandfather tree is destroyed, and that's going to just kill Da if he's not already dead. So either way, it's not looking good. So Rockbeak is he's pissed off, but he's also frightened of what's going to happen.
And then traveling alongside him is Anir, and I will let you take that away with that description.
Walking behind the large creature, the Chthon, is a green shadow which glides across the jungle floor. And near a bob and she, imagine, if you will, a satyr. Something like a satyr with its goat features, but replace the goat features with that of a deer, a female doe, but with antlers. A creature from the dark woods, here on this sojourned island so far away from home. She stands 5'2" and just weighing over 122 pounds. She is a lithe, light figure and clinging to the shadows, her pale porcelain skin poking from beneath her green cloak as you hear the rattling and the nervous rapping of her talons just underneath her cloak, hidden away, those incisors, those daggers on the ends of her hands, as she nervously, almost in her imagination, strikes out. Her hands are aching to utterly rip the life from those that have taken away her, one of her greatest friends, one of the few people on this island who have cherished her, taken care of her, given her such gifts, been there for her in her hour of need, and now stolen away by these monsters, which should have been disposed of, which should have been killed off from the very beginning. Now those feelings of regret cloud her mind, loom above like a great thunderbird ready to strike with lightning of anger and rage and love for her companions. She watches the back of the Chthon, the mighty rock beak, the iron shell, the iron rivets, as she glides forward and she gives to Rockbeak a knowing, somber, serious nod. It's a nod from a hunter to another hunter, a knowing, an acknowledgement of what needs to be done. She then turns towards the light, following them. Take it away, Solitude.
Solitude, the most distinguishing feature would be her sort of empty gaze that she keeps on at most times. Simply dressed, has a quilted jerkin used from basic materials for some makeshift armor, being a warrior in her own right, carrying a khopesh at her side. She has long golden hair with eyes of the same color, palish white, and is very elf-like in appearance, as the Freyens are, with pointed ears. Um, Other than that, she's not wouldn't be particularly special. Aside from these things, she's simple in the way of one of her races could be. As of right now, she's carrying herself with determination and grace, with anyone who could see past the sort of stone wall of seemingly emptiness that she carries around in herself at all times. You could tell that she's concerned, maybe a little afraid for the ones around her. But still, she tries to carry herself with strength to sort of be a beacon to those around her.
And with that, we shall flash a few moments later, 5 minutes or so, as you gather around a Rockbeak's hut, the war room. Bess, at Rockbeak's side, his second in command, a human female who was Rockbeak allowed to remain in command at the second command after the revolt against Alwick. She has brown eyes, long, wavy brown hair, and pale skin with a single scar over her left eye. She is a tribeless human, one who does not know her origin, one who's looked down upon by her people, and she stands proudly next to Rockbeak, one who has become known to many as the breaker of chains. And she had offered advice to her commander in the form of a Trojan horse style attack on the salamanders, offering the best fighters of the village up as quote unquote sacrifices to the salamanders as they had requested, and but in reality leaving their bonds loose enough for them to slip out and engage in a brawl against the salamanders. Rockbeak had questions, doubts, reservations about this idea. And now at the war table, Rockbeak has a chance to voice his own opinions or um, revoice the ones given to him already. And I will let him have the stage now.
Well, we all know what's going to happen if we don't do anything. So the floor is open to suggestions. As it stands right now, we're gonna take the best fighters, myself included, as a fake offering to the salamanders. And once inside, in their volcano, we're gonna bust free and we're gonna engage them in combat. And I was thinking if we go along this line, then we should have somebody. I mean, if our best fighter's in there, then I guess our second best fighter. Somebody should be lying in wait, not too far from these salamanders' uh, hideout, and when they hear the commotion, maybe they can charge in and help. But
They
I'm
would be
open to any suggestions.
the sacrifices requested were 30 as well, just as a note for that.
So speak now, or forever hold your peace.
A voice comes from the side. So, you, this idea of yours, I say, looking towards the tribalist human. This idea of yours is to have a trick played on the salamanders. 30
Yes.
of our greatest warriors to go and to offer themselves up and then to get inside. I have a question about this idea. Where would they hide their weapons?
We would be unable to take weapons without drawing suspicion, but an all-out assault will result in them executing the prisoner.
But even the greatest of warriors would have trouble fighting without weapons.
You're not wrong.
Yes, well, that is precisely the problem, because there are very few places to get inside. I've been there, I've seen the cliffs. You would need... There are ways to approach that place without being spotted, but you need to be extremely quiet and extremely good at climbing. I can lead this, but, like you said, if they see us coming, they may kill Da before we get close enough. There are... I do not know. What if there was some sort of way that we could... I don't know, perhaps... I look over towards one of the braziers that is burning, and I look at the smoke. What about that? I say, pointing towards the smoke. The spirit that comes from the fire, the smoke. What if we were to use that, a lot of that, to cover our approach, to sow confusion, to burn the part of the jungle that I am loath to offer such a suggestion? It may give us some cover at a time where they may not expect us to come.
She looks towards Rockbeak and says, "She has a point, Commander. A large fire may draw their attention."
Yeah, it may also put them on high alert, especially if they see smoke surrounding them. They may panic and kill Da outright.
That is true.
Nothing's for sure though. We're all taking everything on faith here. We don't know what would happen.
What if we were to draw them out, like with some sort of, I don't know, maybe some sort of fire ritual?
I
Something
doubt
fancy.
I doubt they're gonna leave Da unguarded. To probably their strongest warriors are probably gonna stay at his side, and it's risky because we don't even know how many of them would be drawn out. If I was in their shoes, I'm expecting either a sacrifice or I'm gonna kill somebody. And I'm not going nowhere. I would hunker down and get my defenses up.
That's right. She kind of holds, crosses her arms across her chest. She's swaying back and forth, thinking. The gears are turning. I think the best way is to attempt to sneak inside. Perhaps. They will be expecting something like this, of course, but let's say we go ahead with this plan, with this 30 of our greatest warriors to go there and to pretend to be sacrifices. And maybe that could be the distraction. They may be expecting something like this, however.
We ain't heard from you yet, Solitude. You got any suggestions?
I'm sort of like looking toward the ground at the moment. I have been listening, but I'm afraid I don't have much to contribute. Anir is the only soul I know of who is skilled enough to bring any stealthful approach. But other than that, I know she can't do everything alone. And I'm also not sure how much time we have.
How many of salamanders do we think are there? How many did we finish yesterday? Or sorry, earlier today. There were 5, if I recall.
We haven't had a accurate scouting report on them. I don't know how many of them there are out there.
I know there was when I went up there to the mountain a couple of chains ago after Kel. I saw there was about, I think there was just over 20.
We could still do the sacrifice, and we could have Anir sneak in by herself. And with the coming approach of these sacrifices, it may draw their attention enough for her to sneak in and free Da. And once his safety is secure, then we can spring our trap. I don't need weapons to fight, but I know that it's not true with everybody else, so just another plan. We got plenty of plans here. We don't know if any of them's gonna work, so but we got one shot at this, and time is not on our side. It's of the essence, so we got to think of something quick.
What of Rock Peak? Solitude? What happened? What happened yesterday? When that thing from the sky came? Could we not ask her?
I look at Rockbeak.
Yeah, well, the gods don't exactly like to meddle in everybody's affairs, so I'm pretty sure we're on our own here.
Rockbeak, you do actually have access to the precepts of fire and air, the status 0 abilities from those two things, as you have recently become a clergy for Eshura. So you could call upon these minor miracles to aid you, at least.
That is true. I don't know how much they're going to help, and I got to dig my books out. They're covered in dust now because it's been 40 years since we played. So,
Alan, when there was that appearance of that of that entity from yesterday or early today, maybe perhaps this morning, was there any sort of obvious fiery aspect
Yes.
to that person? Okay.
And they like when they left, the ground where they stood was scorched with
Yes,
flame,
that's right.
and people are
Yep.
collecting that and kind of hoarding it as holy relics. Even
That's right. Rockbeak, I do not know much about or anything about these mystical rites, but there's something else about the volcano which is a danger of the fire mountain. There is fire there which is like water, and it is extremely hot, so hot that you cannot breathe. And it doesn't matter if we even get inside, we may not even be able to get close enough to where they're keeping Da because of this heat.
Well, if they want him alive, they're probably not going to bring him too far deep into the volcano. I mean, obviously, they know he's a tree man. And, I mean, they're not that dumb. I would imagine he won't be too far into the mountain.
This is sort of like a cave that they're in.
Yes, it spirals down for quite a long
It,
distance.
it makes me wonder. The cavern in which I lived, it went deeper, but I never explored it fully. I can't help but to think if it perhaps connects to it.
Interesting. Um, just Alan, just from our, does that seem sort of plausible? I can make probably an
It
outdoorsman roll.
it is like the cliffside was relatively close to the mountain, so it's plausible that the cave systems could go in that direction through the underworld. But it's no telling what lurks down there, and certain individuals do not have the luxury of seeing in the dark as well, so it might make it a little bit difficult to send a sizable group. But yes, it is a plausible thing.
I pondered that for a while. It could, that could be it, but I, with such caves, sometimes they can lead to nowhere. Sometimes they can just be empty or dead ends. Um, there is no telling. Did we recall seeing any evidence of these salamanders in that cave that we were in for a couple of chains? Did we see any tracks, any signs, any fire?
If they were anywhere nearby, they left no indication of their arrival.
They might not be linked in that case. It's a good idea, but it it is a little bit of the way off towards the mountain, and it may not be. We may not have enough time. If there
The
was only some
sacrifice
way.
were just for the time limit. The sacrifice were request by the 30th day, and it is the third day right now.
Yeah.
They want it no later than the morning of the 30th day.
I know we don't have time really for an expedition, although with my rebirth, I have gained an affinity with the underworld. I could explore the cavern a lot better now.
Well, that of course you are able to walk between between the shadows. Of course. You may be able to. Could you do what you did back then? That night, in the long night, when you just appeared and disappeared. Could you do that?
I look down again. I don't know. I didn't intend to do any of the such. In fact, I believe it was not a work of my own at all. I I have no idea how that happened.
I see, I see. We need to find something. We need to think. I believe that's exploring that cavern, if it is close by. It may lead somewhere deeper inside. I do not know much about caverns. Perhaps we can find someone to help us here in this village, but I'll at least be able to see well in the darkness of that place.
I'd
There
need
was
a
these
light
slug.
source myself.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'd need a light source myself if I were to explore it.
Yes, yes. There's also Rockpeak, Solitude. There's also the strange slug people that live in the woods, in the swamps. They revered Da. They worshipped him for a time, even when he was there, when he walked amongst them and taught them. It was over the long night. Perhaps there's something they may know, some sort of secret entrance that they may know as well.
Hey, if they revere him, maybe they can help us rescue him. If we tell them that he's been captured, maybe we can get some allies in this fight.
That is true, but however, they are brutish and barbaric creatures with and are slow. We
I mean, look at me. I'm kind of brutish and barbaric, some might say, but I mean,
yeah, these are even more so. I mean, you at least wear clothes, and they do not wear anything.
he just looks at his little belt, completely naked except for his belt. Yeah, I wear clothes. You're right.
They they may know something perhaps of the best way. I think would be if only there was some way that we could make the mountain fall asleep somehow to make the fire go away, to drown it in sand and water. I don't know how that could happen. But that would. Hmm.
You do know the way to the Sug people, don't you?
Yes, I do. It's a few days' travel. Perhaps a day, maybe a day and a half.
You are the fastest. You could try to get word to them, and I could explore the cavern while you're doing that.
The problem is I do not speak that language. They speak a language similar to that of Da. His old tongue where he sings to the trees. I do not know it. I'll need to
Do
find
we know
someone in
of
the
any?
village.
I look around. Do we know of anyone who speaks the same language?
Ah, I mean, Daw is the only orc that I've seen in a very long time. I don't think there's any more on the island, so
It's the
it's a
language
long
of the
shot.
trees. The language of the trees. I don't know. This is.
Is there some way you could communicate to them without using words? Or is that not possible?
I could try something like that, but I would not be able to explain to them the situation, and if they if I lead them towards the mountain and they attack, or there is uh some sort of conflict, then the salamanders may read that as something from us, perhaps. But at the very least, I think it's worth to go to them to see if they know of any other way inside the mountain. I
I
think,
could go with you. I might be able to talk to him.
yes, yes, I think that would be a good idea, and that is towards the direction of the cliffs. In fact, that is how I found the cliffs in the first place. I followed the swamp, and I saw the village, and I headed towards the coast from there, and I found the cliffs there, so we could perhaps go to this slug village once again, see if we could find out more about this island and the mountain, the caves, and then if we do not find anything, or if they do not know, then we could go back to the cave we were in when we first arrived, and there we could find out if the cave does go deeper. But I think the best way forward is to try and sneak him out. We could try the diversion with the 30 would-be sacrifices. However, we could lose people, and they would be expecting that.
Well, that's always an option, but let's talk to these slug people, do some cave diving, and we have some time. So I mean, we can always fall back on our diversion and whatnot. But we need to do something to get the ball rolling.
Wait. Wait. What about those? The shark monsters, the blue people. What if we were to find a way to call them to the island, to the mountain? What if we could find a way to make our enemies fight each other?
I know of no way to contact them.
I don't know either, but if there was a way that we could call them, maybe even warn them that the salamanders are attempting to escape, prisoners? The salamanders
I
would
mean,
not believe them to be a part of ours. The salamanders know that the sirens are the enemy, are our enemies as well. That could be the chaos, that could be the distraction, that could allow us to sneak in.
as soon as the sirens see that we've made a city and there are no slaves, I doubt they're gonna be wanting to mess with salamanders.
But that will be far away from the village. I mean, it's 2 days walk.
Yeah, but when the salamanders come to the island, they've always come to the same spot.
Yes, that's why I'm thinking, what if there was a way that we could fool them, trick them into thinking that simply Arwick has died of something, fallen over a rock and hit his head and died, and that you are continuing on like everything is like normal, and to tell these, as they say, masters, that there are slaves seeking to rebel.
There's nothing stopping them from, killing us for our weakness and insolence and not being able to defend ourselves from some lizards. This could go many ways. I mean, it's all bad.
They could kill us, but if they want us to give them food and to work for them, it does not make sense to me that they would want to kill the ones that are feeding them. It depends how we can
How
approach
would
it.
we even go about summoning these people? I mean, uh, I ain't got no clue.
What if we were to get some sort of bolt, a small one, very small, or a large gathering on the beach to make it look like something? They are, I'm sure they have to be watching us on the beach.
I'm pretty sure if they're watching us, they would know what happened. They'd probably be here by now, killing us all.
But that is what happened in the village. But it's not often that many people go down to the waters just for some drink and to wash. But they may not know. If they did know, they may not care, because they may not know that anything is about to happen. They may think that it's just simply the same as before. I mean, the streets are still filled with smelly, uh, crazy people, just like it was before. I mean, nothing's changed. We could tell the sirens that the salamanders are trying to anger the mountain, to bring a fire, to destroy everything. Some sort of lie like that. And
Smoke could be used, although fire is their domain, and I don't know if it would be a very good idea to play with it.
that we could smoke to call the sirens.
Yes.
That could work on the beach to create lots of these fires. Lots of smoke.
I still want to talk to these lizard, these slug people. They still might be able to help us.
Yes. If we do, however, I know it's risky, but if we do manage to get these silence to help us a little bit, or at least then we could also, additionally, we could trap one of them or some of them, and maybe we could find out more information about what exactly is beneath the waters, where they live, where their ship is, things like that. It would have to be done very close to the time when they would come, so that I did not notice people escaping. Oh, no. They will have to be done very close to the time when they would come for their tribute, so that they wouldn't have time long enough to realize that some of the people they've sent to the island have not returned yet.
I'm skeptical on trusting anything to these slavers. I mean, I don't want to put any sort of faith or trust in them. I still say we should go with the 30 men, but it's whatever everyone votes for. This isn't no dictatorship, so ultimately we're trying to save Da. So whatever gets him saved, that's all that really matters.
I agree.
I nod as well.
I think for the time being that perhaps we should go to the slug people again to see if we can find out more, and then from there into the caves. And if we cannot find any way inside, and if the spirits do not show us any other way, then we should try this fake sacrifice.
All right, if everyone's in agreement, it's settled then. We should get moving as soon as possible.
Okay.
Right. We can begin now.
I head over to just the corner of this same place, and I have my things, and I begin to pick up my items. And oh yeah, Alan, the Dar's staff that he dropped, was that something just obviously lying on the ground,
Yeah,
that we could have found, or is that something
yeah,
that?
yeah. That's fine.
Oh, great.
Yeah, we can say y'all picked it up.
Yeah. So I take that gnarled, twisted staff of ancient wisdom and beatings, and I take the staff of beatings and ancient wisdoms, and begin to tie various provisions on the end of it, um, and begin to prepare for this journey.
And as you all prepare for the journey, we shall switch back over to Dahl as he is prisoner, chained by iron on the stone. And
How close is Dar to the lava?
um, he's a decent ways away. It's like a small island in the middle of a lake of lava. Essentially, he's not like he's more probably like, if I had to say off the top of my head, around 7 meters. I think if I'm doing the conversions correctly off the top of my head, about seven
Yeah,
meters
yeah,
away.
yeah, that's still like real warm.
Yeah, he's very uncomfortable at this time.
Ugh. Yeah. Uh, so yeah, Dar is going to, I guess, use the time to. Yeah, he's going to use the time to. Yeah, because he can't see really well through like really small fibers. So his grass skirt, his hat, and his cotton sort of clothing don't really work incredibly well to see through. He can do it. It just doesn't do. It just he's seeing through a single strand at a time. So it's so like his vision is like really blurry. It's like essentially really low resolution. Um, so he's essentially blind at this point, properly. Especially since every now and again sparks are going onto his clothes and he has to pat them out really quickly. Uh, but yeah, he's going to try to like if anyone is going to come up and talk to him, he is and monologue at him. He will not care. He is trying to stay calm. He is trying to rest as best he can. He knows better than to extend his roots into the soil, like properly. But he's like he's essentially rooted, just like in the alluvial sort of, uh, like just like the pumice, um, just so he can at least feel like he's sort of, I don't know, safe. He's going to be trying to reduce those levels of exhaustion, standing perfectly still basically as a tree, and then every 4 hours he is going to, remembering the wood that he made the that he made the the kissing stick, that he made the bowl for solitude, like for Rockbeak. He made the bowl with with the bone flour, for solitude, and he made the little deer totem, for Ariana. Also, his little trout totem, which he made for the member of our party who went, but he's going to be looking for that too. And just once every 4 hours, um, just on a cycle, he is going to be casting, um, like locate plant for those specific those specific types of wood. He'll pick up all the wood in the area, but he's basically going to be burning his prana, um, once every, but basically so that he uses 6 prana in a day, and resting all the other times. So he's like depleting himself every day, and each time he's pulling a strand or like I'm pulling like a blade of grass from his like skirt, like a strand of cotton from his clothing, and he lets it waft into the hot air. Um, in Thraxa, um, keeper of what disappears. Hear me now. Open your ears. Find for me what I now see. My moon, sun, earth, air, fire, and sea. As he's, sending these strands to, within a couple-mile radius, just to see if his friends are coming yet.
Sadly for Dom, no one is coming yet. That he
Oh,
as the loneliness and possible dread of his situation sinks in deeper and deeper with each failed casting with nothing to show.
yep. Yeah.
And he does hear a voice begin to speak to him from the darkness all around him, for he cannot see for his mind, and the
Mm.
low, fuzzy resolution, that he can see through his fibers and his clothing. He sees the blurry figure of a salamander.
Mm.
It's the leader again speaking in Tharaxa. Orc, you have done much wrong to our people. I give you chance to make amends.
He kind of like stops the chant, which he finishes off his chant, and sets another fiber of his clothing free. It like the hot air is swirling because above the lava and everything, it's just a little bit crazy. But he's at but like the strand floats away on like against the breeze. It essentially just floats its own way, seeking out something. He finishes and then stops, and then he turns his face to where he approximates the salamander is at, and basically just, uh, yeah, just I don't know, eyes him but without eyes, masks him. There we go. And basically, like in a sort of gesture, like I'm listening.
You have been surrounded by the heat of Morgul, and the flames lap out hot before you. The spirits of the volcano thirst and hunger for your flesh.
He makes a small whining sound, like
You
it's
need
not.
not be sacrificed. Surrender now and give your soul over to Morgul. Pledge yourself to him and join us, and you will live to see the glory of the return of the Prince of Greed.
Prince of Greed? Irothrokat? Oh, fucking. Okay. Could I roll to know that that's the fucking Elder Dragon of Fire?
Yes, you can roll theology.
Yep, that's an 8 on dice, plussing my 5, plussing another 4. So that is a total of 17.
All right. Phil, your mic's kind of making noises right now.
Sorry?
Your mic was just kind of freaking out there for a second, but it is fine now. Yes,
All right.
that is enough. I heard you though. That is enough to understand the reference there, and you also would know that since you've never heard of him referred to as the Prince of Greed before, but you have heard him referred to as the King of Greed. It's kind of odd that he would call him a Prince of Greed, but to you, anyways. But you know, he might know more than you. You know, he does this stuff for a living, but
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
it's definitely an oddity. Like it's that one little weird thing that catches that you kind of your mind catches on. Like that doesn't sound right.
Hmm. Why would you worship a prince and not a king? Queen? Using the approximate terms in Thruxa for those concepts, I guess.
You
Like
greatly misunderstand. We
enlighten.
we worship none but Morgul. The Prince of Greed is none other than a pawn in the game to further Morgul's power. He is Noga Tuxfelga Boro.
Nice. Okay. Right. I don't know what that means because you purposefully spoken a language which I. That's okay. Um. Okay. What would Dar say? Screw it. You know what Dar would do?
That is a more ghoulish that he spoke it in as well.
Yeah, the crackling fire.
Yeah.
Mm, I've got. Yeah, I think I've got what Dar would say. Probably he's going to be turning around and facing him. Uh, that was his last prana. That was his last point of prana for today in terms of casting that spell. So he doesn't have any more left for today. But what he's going to do is he's going to make a. What role would I do to proselytize somebody? He could He could try to proselytize me. I'll just do it right back.
Probably a diplomacy, I imagine.
Oh, good. Oh, God, that is an 8. Oh, okay. So that's a total of a 14. Minusing the 7 does put me on 7, which isn't a good roll, but it's does not abysmal. Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, I would not give my heart to any lord of fire. My heart alone belongs to the keeper of the forest, the keeper of all living things, of which you are a part of her domain. Again, this takes me a while to say, so he probably will be interrupting me at some point once he realizes that I'm just sprouting off my scripture at him.
He waits for you to finish, surprisingly, and then responds. Would it only be your eyes were available to you to witness the flames purge this island of every last plant and animal? As then he turns and walks from you, leaving you.
Oh, okay. All right. Sure, that's okay. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, just bully the person with the disability. That's okay. God damn it. All right. So yeah, Dar is. I guess I don't know. He's got enough meditation to not actually be upset, but he's still. That's still not very nice. But yeah, he's got. He's just gonna. Yeah, get back to being comfortable. Which doesn't involve sitting down or anything. He just stands up and then just holds his arms to the side. Not in a not like straight out, like horizontal. Just like a just like almost oblique to like his body, with his fingers outstretched into the air as like essentially the burning air like roars around him, and the bubble and the just the grinding of like molten stone just makes everything. Yeah, for a tree person, this is pretty much what hell is like. But he's just gonna try to like get the exhaustion level down, and because like he knows his friends are coming, he knows they are coming, and when they do, he wants to be ready. So he's yeah getting that sort of like building up his building himself back up from expending all his energy.
And we will leave Da to his rest, as his companions are indeed coming, and their journey through the jungle and swamp, taking about half a day, reaching it, reaching the village of these strange slug people at right around night. just past nightfall as they reach the village, considerably quicker than traveling with Da. Anir will note her companions are,
Ah,
where
it's so
Da took about
glorious.
2 days, where they
Ah,
take roughly half a day, and then you will see the lights in the distance of this the slug village as you approach through the swamp as the Aramazda descends from the sky and the eyes of Araman slowly take its place as you will approach the dimly lit village.
I assume at this point as well. Just I think solitude is going to be you're going to have a torch with you, right? It's going to be pretty dark here, especially
Yes.
getting close to dark. Yeah, have a torch lit. Yeah, as we'll slowly start to approach. Okay, that was a lot quicker than I thought it would be. Very good. So, over there, see the lights there? No, no, not over there. There. That's it. Yes. Um, that that's the village. Be careful. We have to tread lightly. They are aggressive beasts, and do not get close. Otherwise, they may spray you with their with what they eat. It's like this acid.
So they don't take kindly to strangers then.
No, they don't. Not at all. We have to try and communicate with them best as we can. I look over towards Rockbeak. Well, you have a way about you. You have, I don't know. You easily make friends. Maybe you could try and speak to them.
Well, we need to make our presence known so they don't, start attacking us thinking we're enemies.
Yes, we should approach. We should approach with noise so they see us.
Rocky just goes out there with his
No,
loud
he does.
imperfection, and he just starts calling out like in Tahuli, and he's just like, "We come, we're friends. Don't attack."
And as Rockbeak walks through the mud, it's like squish, squish, squish as your feet sink slightly into the mud as you walk and trek through it, using more and more effort to pull yourself out each time. You step onto something still squishy but solid. Not sink. You don't sink into it as much as the mud. It feels different in the mud.
Great. I think I just stepped on a monster.
Huh?
I look down at what I stepped on.
I put my hand on my hilt, ready to draw my weapon.
You see the bottom half of a severed corpse of one of the slugs.
Never mind. It's just a corpse. Um,
It's covered in slime.
Not disconcerting at all. We should just continue our trek at a much faster pace here.
But then you hear a strange hissing noise come from the water.
My Rishra.
Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back!
I move back and take cover, and
I mean, I try. I try to
I do have
waddle
my
out of the
torch,
fucking
so
mud and
kinda
before
hard
a
to
monster comes in
hide.
and devours me. I wouldn't taste good, monster. Rockbeak says as he runs back out of the mud or tries to.
I
Aren't you
take out a large
scurry?
clay brick.
All right. It's eerily quiet as you leave the water's edge.
What's going on? I look towards the village. Is there sound? Is there like sounds of life coming from the village? Like the sounds of slippery, slimy slugs. Going to their tiny, slimy homes and kissing their slimy children. Like sounds of life.
Yes, there are sounds coming from the village.
Is there any way to get to the village without walking through monster-infested territory?
Um, the village is atop the trees, and it is like built like small huts on massive tree branches, and it is the only way to get there is to climb one of those trees, and those all of those trees go over either water or muddy patches that run close to the water.
Well, that would be an athletics roll to climb trees.
Yes, it would.
All right. Rockbeak waddles over to the nearest tree that connects to it,
Okay.
and he is going to he's gonna cast magic.
Ooh.
Well, not magic. He's gonna cast spells. Not magic. Don't fucking. I'm not a dog. Okay. Casting rituals. I'm not gonna. Don't have the fucking enforcers come after me.
All right. What are you going to? What ritual are you going to attempt to cast?
Arts of the Sky to increase my athletic score.
I describe how Daw. I mean, no, you got
Okay, well, this is what Daw does. He goes, I'm a
describe to me
tree.
what Rockbeak
And,
does here.
um, Rockbeak will, he will scour the,
I'm a tree.
yeah, he'll he'll do his best Daw impression. No, is there like any fallen leaves or anything laying around?
Oh, plenty. There's plenty of just miscellaneous debris such as that.
He will pick up a leaf and he will cup it in his hands, and he will breathe. He'll just blow into it and blow it into the wind. And as he does, seemingly out of nowhere, a powerful gust will pick up the leaf and surround Rockbeak, and infusing him with the power Big Veil.
All right, and also I would remind you that currently Rockbeak does not have any zeal though at his current level, and he would have to dip into his life
Uses,
force to cast.
yeah, just blood magic, dude. Okay, so how much damage did he take?
I'm just one vig for casting without zeal.
Okay, so go ahead and do I lower it now or do I lower it after I've done it?
No, no, you go. You lower it now. You have to.
Okay, let me hold on. And then it's presence plus piety.
No, you don't need to make a roll for this.
Oh, you don't? It just happens?
You just
Oh, okay.
spend your turn doing it as well, and all that good stuff. And then you add your piety to your athletics.
So I roll 10. Okay. That's a 10 then. So it's 2d8 plus 10.
And don't
And
forget your strength modifier as well.
oh, crackers, you're right. Since he's a fucking monster. So that's plus 16 to my roll.
All right.
Pretty good.
So that's 26 on his athletics check to climb.
Rockbeak not only climbs this tree, but he scales it with surprising speed and efficiency as he crawls up, grabbing on branch after branch, crevice after crevice, scaling it. As you see his feet, as they step up, it's almost like they step on air rather than stepping on, like finding perches in the tree itself, as the air itself pushes his foot by foot as his hands grip and the air keeps flowing under him and pushing him up ever so slightly as he climbs with great speed before reaching the one of the platforms on which these slug people reside.
Solitary just sees Aeneas' mouth open and agape, just looking at the turtle launch itself up into a tree. Just like
Just seeing this
done.
very strange display, my mouth open slightly as I stand in awe. It's just
We're just looking
dazzling
up.
display.
We're just looking
Hey,
up.
hey, what you ladies waiting for? Come on, you don't want to be Monster Chow.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I just get the snap out of it quickly. I'll give you a hand, Solitude. I'll give you a hoof up, as it were. I get
What
sort
is
of.
what's climbing under?
Athletics.
Oof. All right. I was making sure I had any, so I'm not like terrible at climbing or anything, but no, I do.
Actually, I didn't do my skill penalty, so that's 23 instead of 26.
Still impressive.
All right. We attempt the climb as well. We're gonna need to make a roll for that.
Yeah, go ahead and make a roll. It is a very large tree.
Oh man.
It's an extra thick tree that the doll would like.
Yep.
Thick with 2 C's.
You may make your athletics
You
climbing
know my
roll.
type.
All right. I'm going to make a specific decision here in the way that I could do very much like what a Rockbeak did, or attempt to, using the air precept that I have, but I'm particularly going against that to accept help from in-ear. So it's sort of
Yep.
like a little note.
I go ahead and make the roll. Then you will follow it behind.
Okay. Had to get the dice roll already. Plus 3. 13.
Alright, you're able to scale the tree, although it's not extraordinarily fast. It's a little slow, but you do end up getting there. Probably about double the time it takes Rockbeak to get there.
Okay. Once Solitude is up in the tree and Rockbeak as well, I'll attempt to climb up. Hey,
Oh my.
double 8.
Well, I don't
That's
think she
another 8.
climbs. She teleports next to us. I guess I don't know.
Another 8.
That's That's great. That's
Oh my, what is that?
27,
That's
30, 32 on dice. Plus 35. Strength based.
Yep.
I think that's a 36. That's a
Alright.
36.
Just as everyone was in awe of Rockbeak's climbing, being propelled forth by the air, Anir climbs and makes leaps and bounds up the tree, skipping entire branches on the way up as she climbs and propels herself forward and jumps from branch to branch, tree to tree, like she is like this was something she'd been doing her entire life, flawlessly making it up in half the time Rockbeak made it up, which is already an extremely impressive time to begin with.
I can sort of imagine me taking the extra time to get up, and then she's just like leaping and bounding over ahead of me, and
Yeah,
kind of
just
looking up and seeing her do this.
it's just taking advantage of the gust of wind that was created earlier, and I do actually at various points give Solitude another a leg up to a branch, and they give you a leg up on another branch. So it's sort of I'm not going to be leaving you guys behind. As I'm just somehow I'm able to run up these trees. um, Clambering up, perhaps even hearing the sound of some sort of slippery, lurking monster down in the depths of the waters, and that's just propelled me forward just to get up into the tree, get into the safety. Okay, that was a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah, show off.
It's very well done yourself. There we go. Solitude. There.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're truly a master at this.
Thanks.
I kind of give you an extended gaze from like kind of just staring at you for maybe a
Thank you.
few moments longer than I should.
Robbie just mutters under his breath and through, like, if I had 10 feet, maybe I could jump up there too.
Okay. Well, we haven't been sprayed with gunk yet, so
And as
Do you see anything?
says this, you see a small group of these slug creatures actually moving towards you just as Anir mentioned them. About
Okay.
4 of them begin moving in your direction,
Hey, right on time.
somewhat
Speak of
aggressive, wielding
speak of
clubs.
the Aramondians and they'll appear, right?
I step forward and kind of wave my arms in the air. Um, Da Chichibi Makia speaking tree. I say
They
out
all
loud.
freeze as you scream out Daw's name.
And I'm just waving my arms in the air, and I'm hoping I can recognize one of the disgusting spotty ones, which I saw a couple of times in the village a couple of days ago. As I did stay here for a few hours, a few nights ago, so I'm hoping I could sort of say like, "Hey, I'm back. I'm not here as an intruder or anything. I'm here. Hello."
They seem to recognize you, but also they seem off put by the fact that you have 2 strangers with you.
I just call out in Thuban, like, hey, do you speak Thuban?
They seem to have no response to that at all.
I go to Tullian. What about this? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Still, they just say defensively.
Well, I tried. Not speaking disease. They don't understand a thing I'm saying.
Oh no. Um, I say in Dazzy's, "Hello." I wave. Da speaking
As
Biamakia, and I make like a triangle sort of a symbol above my head in the
they
air.
start doing the symbol with you and waving at you.
Just as an, a note to the flame tender, my last name Bimachia means tree, and Da Kakpisichichi Jamachia. Sorry. The first part of that, my full name, first name, sorry, means the spring equinox. Sorry, which is no, sorry, no, the summer equinox, which is utter gibberish in in the current tongue. It's a name that's been passed down for a long time,
Yeah.
and very few people know what it means anymore. But yeah, that's what my name means in Throxa.
So
They
I start saying that.
essentially just respect that name, but knowing it comes from Da. And as you start doing these gestures with your hands, they will follow your hand gestures with you, making them back at you.
Okay.
With the
I
big
then
ass claws.
I then produce the staff of ancient wisdom and beatings. And
They
hold
begin
it
to
out.
cower at the face of the staff,
As
as
they
they
should.
know what Da has done before.
um, yeah. So I hold out. Okay. I think they, I think they fear this. Um,
They drop their clubs and bow to you.
okay. I then slowly take the staff, and I carefully kind of bow towards the staff. I then take the staff um, over towards Solitude, and she kind of looks at me, like, "What are you doing? Giving me this piece of wood? I'm afraid." I then turn to uh, the Chthon, Rockbeak, and I say, "Hold this out." I hand you
Uh,
this wooden polished oak.
I grab it and I hold it out, all majestic like.
I kind of lean in towards you a little bit to the ear, and I could have held it.
Oh, sorry. I thought maybe you wouldn't have not wanted to. Got a better idea. You hold on to the other end.
All right, so how tall is Rockbeak? Isn't he like basically
He's
5 foot?
5 foot,
So
5 foot even.
I'm 5. I'm almost 6. So yeah, that's definitely a side right there. It's like holding 2 hands up and it's all like lopsided. but we're doing it.
Okay. We have to go find. I look. I look like. I look. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I'm going to try something. Okay, we have to look, and this is kind of obvious to anyone insight. We have to maybe find their leader, a large fat one that is carried around on these strings, on these ropes. He's very fat. He's very large. You have to find him. You have to maybe
But, I
give
mean,
him the staff. You have to
give him the
manage.
staff. I mean, wouldn't that make him think that he's, all powerful like Da? He
I
might just try to kill us, thinking he's all hotshot.
we have to then point towards the mountain. That's about. If we cannot speak the language, then we have to do this now quickly. You have to hold this because they know me, but they do not know you. But if you hold the staff of power, then they will not harm you.
I feel like a damn idiot. Okay. So Rockbig has this thing, his arm stretched way above his head holding this because Solitude's taller than him and she's got hold of it. So he's stretching his arms out, walking, holding this giant staff up in the air.
And
Okay.
as you walk through here, Solitude, you actually feel something in one of your fingers as it pierces through even your glove.
From the staff.
Yes.
I kind of my eyes slightly widen. Is that can I see what it is? Like what exactly is it? Like it's a really bad splinter. Like
You see a slight bit of blood ooze out from your glove, just a very, very slight bit, as you do see you have indeed contracted a splinter. That somehow it has gone through your glove of your quilted jerkin.
But it's carved and everything. I
I
said.
kind of like I tilt my head to the right a little, like kind of
Well,
confused.
I guess I did smack somebody across the head with it, so it could have dented it somewhat. Also, I wish I could see this now. God damn it. Why did I ever take my vision out of anything else? Ah.
I know that this doesn't seem normal at all, but I kind of try to reposition, like carefully reposition my hand this time to a not non-splinter spot. I try to ignore the irritation that I'd be feeling from this splinter for as long as they're holding it and waiting for to see what Anir wants to do with it.
And now you guys continue through. Before long, you are actually greeted by one of the larger slugs. He
The
has
Slug Lord.
a long scar that runs across the middle of his body, and he has an intricately carved club in his hand as he slides and slithers forth, leaving a slime trail behind him. And he comes up to you and starts just spewing out words that are completely incoherent to you and sound vaguely like Daw's speech, vaguely, although more unrefined, if you had to guess, than what Daw normally speaks in.
Um, do any of you know what he's saying?
I'm assuming we don't, right? We had no clue what he's saying.
No.
Nah, he's speaking gibberish.
Um, I
I have no idea. No.
looking around at this uh this gallery of monsters that are peering at us from the shadows of this strange village, surrounded on all sides by these slugs. Um, I
As
then
then a drop of slime will drop onto Anir's forehead.
I look up. I wipe it very quickly, like vigorously, and then I look up.
You will see there's a second layer to this village, and there's some slimes dangling over the edges, looking down at all of you.
All right, so I for the remainder of this scene, I'm gonna be like constantly looking up and like sidestepping, like dripping, falling goblets, globs of slime. Um, right. Uh, if this doesn't work, we run. um, okay. Give the staff. Offer it to the The corpulent slug, the corpulent one.
All right. I mean, waddle
I
over
look at
there and
Rockbeak and both can walk over there.
we walk over there and give it to the fat one dude.
As
Just
as as they're moving forward, I raise my arms into the sky, and I once again say, "Da biamakia baji chi 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 speaking tree."
You hear the same thing become echoed, although slightly ajar, kind of like if a toddler was trying to pronounce a word that was just a bit too hard for them to pronounce, but still got their meaning across. Type of sound to it echoes through the village as you say that, and then he drops his club and extends all four of his little arms as he has arms down his body and takes the staff and then waves it above his head as he repeats. He says some short phrase that you don't understand and then repeats Daw's name again.
I then start. Now quickly point towards the mountain. I start jumping up and down on the squelching branches of this tree, of this large sort of tree platform that we're on, and I start madly pointing towards the direction of the mountain, jumping up and down.
yeah, we start pointing
Jumping up and
Over
over
down.
there, slug guys, over there.
They all kind of just stopped, like they were like in the middle of celebrating something. It looked like they were all like moseying back and forth, like almost kind of dancing and chanting, and then they all kind of stop at your apparently just completely to them random spontaneous outburst, and they all look in the direction that you're pointing, and then they look at the staff. They're like almost in unison, like they're
Yeah, looking between us, the staff,
yeah.
the mountain. Yeah, it's just like huh? Like as we're jumping up and down, I was like, quickly, we have to. I start trying to, I start trying to like wave, with my forte in dancing. I try and dance a fire dance, interpretive dance. I try to dance a fire dance and then make a large sort of a sign of a mountain above my head and make like big hulking sort of motions, jerking sort of motions as if it's like rocks, large sort of. I try and like bodily emphasize what a rock is, and like a large sort of mountain with my hands gesturing broadly, and a large sort of peak with my arms, and then I start like waving my arms around like fire, like smoke, and then I say, and then I start to, oh yeah, do you still have the torch? I turn over to Solitude.
There are other torches as well that litter the village that light it up as
Oh,
well.
excellent. I quickly try and run over to one of them, like one of these strange sort of slug man lanterns, and I pick up one of these slug man lanterns, and I take it back. I take it to the front. I lay it on the ground, and I start sort of pointing towards that, and I'm making like kind of gestures, like a large fire, and I point towards the mountain, and now, Rockbeak, try and make your body like the salamander.
What are you talking about? I ain't no salamander.
Pretend to be one. Make them
Uh.
understand.
Oh, by the gods, what you got me doing here? What role would I have to make to try to pretend I'm a salamander?
Acting is under guile.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
In the meantime, also I need you to make me a dance roll to see how well
Absolutely.
your interpretive dance.
Absolutely,
Ooh.
absolutely. And then I gesture towards as I'm putting this show together. I gesture over towards Solitude. I say, Solitude, hold on to these, and I give you like these two branches, these two twigs. I give you more sticks for you to hold. I'm sure you're thrilled about that. And raise it above your head. Raise it above your head and pretend to be Da. And then Rockbeak. Yes, pretend to be Da. Hold it above your head, and Rockbeak, steal Da. pick up Solitude and carry her towards me, and I will be the mountain. Go. I'll make my roll now.
All right, Rockbeak
Everyone,
will.
Rockbeak and Solitude make
Hold on, Rockbeak is going to use Flickering Arts.
I'll
So
sort
I'm
of,
gonna
I'll sort of
lower
just
my.
get the branches and kind of just like press them against the top of my head, and then that's me being doll. And I have no. I'm gonna be rolling with a -5 to this guile. So
So if you don't have anything, it's -4, right?
yes.
But I got a 5 from my piety, so it'd be a -1.
What's your presence?
+1.
So it's going to be a total of a net +2 for you.
All right, so +2. All right, so here I
Okay.
go.
So for, with that dance roll, I got a 13. Please
All right.
be generous.
I got 13. I got 13 also. So
I got a
so
nice fat 3 from my gal being doll.
All right. Describe how you cast Flickering Arts as well, because this could have.
I don't know if I can do this, but Rockbeak is gonna reach his hand into the fire and kind of like scoop it into his mouth, and his whole body kind of.
Fire at this point.
Well, it might hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's gonna stick his little hand and he's gonna stick his hand into the fire and freaking like real quick. He's gonna stick his hand in there into the torch and like freaking like clap his. I don't know. He's gonna grab it and then like kind of like use one of his hands to like herd the flame into the other hand and then like close his hands and then he's going to rub his soot covered hands all over his face because he's soot now. Don't question it.
I'm constantly glancing at you, like, what are you doing?
I then describe what he does as acting, quote unquote, as a salamander.
Well, he tries to make himself taller, but he can't really, and he tries to mimic the way that they lumber about, and he
They often walk on 4 legs, and they're not engaging in combat. He's noticed as well.
then he gets on. He put the spear down and gets on all fours, and he starts like walking around, trying to wiggle the tail a little bit, like a salamander, and try to puff himself up and like start peacocking around. I mean, he's trying to be like a pompous fucking salamander, like he's trying to.
Surprisingly, to most people, not Dog. I keep calling you Dog. Sorry, Rockbeak is actually portraying it fairly well, and you kind of like you look at him and then you blink and you actually see like almost like an essence of a salamander painted over him, but then when you blink, it's gone, and it's like as this ritual, this mysticism surrounds him and conveys a message that his body cannot. And his motions match this mirror image that occasionally flickers over him, just enough to cause you doubt if it was ever actually there. And his movements match it perfectly. And it sears it into your mind, even leaving yourself for a brief second, that yes, this is a salamander. This is what a salamander would do. And as Anir continues with her dance, the slugs are just looking between all of you. And
as I'm gesturing towards now Rockbeak, pick up, and I call out in disease, Rockbeak, pick up Solitude Da, the speaking tree, and bring her to me, and then I sort of grab my cloak, my long sort of green cloak, and I cover my head and my face, and I try and make myself look as much like a stalagmite as possible, kind of like just like be a tall object.
With my 3 on my gal, I'm just gonna be like putting some branches on my head with one hand, and then with the other hand, I have another branch that I'm using as if it's like a staff that Dal uses. I'm vaguely kind of trying to portray that, and
So I very menacingly walk on all fours towards.
I have like
this
no
freaking
facial
tree.
expression on my doing this all too, so it's like
Deadpan.
Yeah.
And then I will rise up on my hind legs and I will pick up the speaking tree very menacingly, and I'll throw him over my shoulder. Now I'd stomp over, try to be screaming menacingly like evil, and I'd walk over
And
to
I make a
the
hissing
mountain.
noise, like like it's like bad, like ooh, bad, ooh, like trying to rile that in the crowd, trying to rile up the crowd, be like, ooh, this is bad. The salamander just picked up the tree. Ooh, shh, it's kind of like that. Angry
They
face.
cower in fear of this.
Yeah.
I feel like such an idiot. What? I hope this better work.
Now give me the speaking tree.
All right, I just give him the deadpan, completely stiff speaking tree.
Okay. And
Hand it off.
very carefully, I will attempt to underneath the cloak which is over my head. I will then attempt to hold Solitude up in the air like a press slam.
And I'm just sort of like still like reaching out with my other branch as if it's the staff in my hand, just like while this is happening the whole time.
I'm holding it, so I'm struggling to hold. I got a 9 strength, so I think you're not too heavy, so I think I can manage it. Just
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm holding you above my head, like kind of like struggling. As I will say now,
I'm just kind of like laying limp,
yeah,
just like reaching out with my staff.
and I will say to Rockbeak, now, I want you to sit down at my feet and protect me, and growl.
All right, I give Amir the what the actual fuck are you talking about look, and then
Sweat's kind of pouring down my face. I'm like holding up Solitude. Like
I do what she says. I get on the floor and I start growling.
We'll wrap this whole performance up with an intimidate roll from Rockbeat.
Oh, crackers. Okay,
Oh no.
these things aren't Fae. I'm assuming.
No, they're not.
Well, that's a 5. That's 11.
Yeah, ones don't count.
Yeah, that's a 10.
That's 10. Okay.
Alright, as Rockbeat lets out his growl and his hiss and his growl at her feet, and then the crowd just goes like dead silent. They kind of stop and like look at one another.
The sound of a goblet of slime, just like plop.
Fucking pin drop.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
God.
then you see the leader raise the staff into the air, scream something at the top of his little slug lungs, and then scream Aldah's name. And the slug people begin rallying behind him.
It works. I think.
What's going on?
No, Mike. By the holy rest, was massive tits. It actually worked.
I can't. As then, like Rockbeak, Solitude almost comes crashing down in your head as I just barely managed to bring her down, landing halfway on you. Exhausted. Did it work? Do we need to run?
There's no real room for it to fail. I think we all did wonderful. Are you alright in here?
I think so.
Then I kinda
If you tell anyone about what transpired here,
Shush! I start like pounding on the drum of your shell.
I can't go behind you and kind of like gently like start massaging your shoulders,
Yeah.
so you can distress a little
Yeah.
while you're beating up.
I kind of like collapse to a knee, but then I regret it because my knee goes into slime. I slowly stand up and kind of like brush that off as I'm enjoying the massaging, the relaxing massage from Solitude. I'm just watching. I'm just like, looking excitedly at Rockbeak and back at Solitude, just like watching, seeing what's gonna happen, what's going on.
You see the slugs start moving about, and you see like they're gathering things up. It looks like as They gather their clubs, and you see they scurry off with the children and hide them away in the houses as a group of apparent warriors gather and begin to tie vines around themselves as others lower them down from the trees.
They're going somewhere. Something's happening.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they're gonna rally to us. We gotta go with them. I point to the rope and I point to my stomach, and I make like the tying motion, like tied around me, and I
One
point
of them
down.
ties it around you.
They're not so bad.
Yeah. Um. What? I. I didn't mean for them to go now. I think I may have made a mistake.
Well, I mean, we can't exactly turn back time now. We gotta just go with it.
That's right. Her performance was a little too good.
Uh, okay. At the very least. Okay. Yes, we climb down. At the very
The
least.
slug that tied it around you starts pushing you, Rockbeak, like he's pushing you towards the ledge. He's not moving you at all, but he's pushing.
I go over there.
Watching, eyeing the slug suspiciously. At the very least, then, we could use this as a diversion. Let's go down.
I just let him lower me down.
Alright, as
Just
you start
dangle
going
there.
up the ledge, the vine snaps and Rockbeak falls
Oh no!
as he collapses right into the water.
How much damage do I take?
None, because you're in the water. You literally go underwater.
I
In the
All right,
start.
pitch
so
black
so can I take like 30? Can I take like 20 damage? Not be in the water. All right. Yeah. He just goes underwater. He's gone.
I start angrily shouting, screaming into the ear of this slug, which just pushed him over, which failed. I then slap him in his goblet, and I start screaming Dar's name at him.
He cowers before you.
As I then, Solitude, I'll help you down. Hold me.
You see, for the first time, my face began to get a little red. When you say that, excuse me.
Just hold on to me, here, and I just like put you around my shoulders and like make you like sort of like just grapple onto me.
I do so gently,
like a monkey would. And
gently, but more but firmly, definitely firm.
And then as you sort of like grab just the back of my neck, I will attempt to climb down this tree and quickly try and get to Rockbeak as much as possible. I don't want him to drown.
Rockbeak quickly feels something rubbing up against him in the water, nudging him, almost like testing to see what he is. It's pitch black and murky, so you can't see a thing. What would Rockbeak like to do? Rockbeak. Your mic might be mute. Oh, never mind. His internet died.
Oh.
All right. So I will continue. You guys
It's climbing down.
you scurry down the tree with much easier to get down than it was to get up, and you just see bubbles bubbling out of the water where Rockbeak fell.
Oh no.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm on my phone. My internet's dead. So
No.
Alan's gonna have to roll for me.
All right.
Roll 20.
Okay, that's fine. At least you're here.
Yeah.
All right. So you feel something in the dark, murky water nudge against you, like it's testing you, trying to find out what you are.
I kick it.
You kick it, and it's not.
I don't know if I'm assuming I dropped my spear. Probably. I don't have it. No. Probably.
I mean, well, it's close by. I'll say
Give me one,
you could have
guys. I'll
farm
be right
with the
back. I just poke it with the butt end of my spear.
It's somewhat soft. It's not like hard like scales or a shell. And you hear a splash in the water as it moves away from you.
Am I underwater right now?
Yes, you're sinking.
Oh no! Can I swim to the top? Can I get out
You
of
can
there?
yes, you can make a swim roll if you have anything in swim.
Is that just athletics with a forte
Yes,
in
that's
swimming?
yes. As long as you have at least
I
one
don't have.
athletic.
Yeah, I got 5 athletics, but no
Yeah,
forte
so
and nothing.
yeah, you can make that with your armor penalty roll as well included into this. Oh, that's
All right.
going to be a -3 to your total roll as you try to pull your heavy iron shell out of this murky depths.
All right, I'm gonna try. Well, I mean, you're gonna try because I can't roll.
Oh yes, apologies. So that's going to be for you. I got to pull up your character sheet now. Rockbeak has rolled a 20,
Oh
and
yeah.
he is able to pull himself out as you guys see the bubbles and then the splash as some strange eel-like creature jumps out of the water and splashes down again. And then you see Rockbeak emerge covered in muck and grime and strange vegetation, like some kind of swamp monster busting out of the water, crawling onto the shore.
He's just screaming ah! As he emerges from the water covered in all this muck and stuff. So he looks like a monster. Yeah.
Rockbeak! You know,
There's something down in here with me. I think it was trying to eat me or something.
so true. You have to get down there. So again, like falling.
I had to get down there as fast as possible without succumbing to the same fate as Rockbeak.
As you meet Rockbeak readily, as you see the slug caravan of warriors moseying into the distance away, slowly fading from sight.
Man,
Definitely.
they don't wait, do they?
Solitude cannot see very far in the dark at all, and so she's losing them very quickly. But Anir and Rockbeak are um, more lucky in the situation, I suppose.
How far away from the shoreline am I? Am I like out in the middle of just the
No,
empty swamp,
you have made it to the shore.
still covered in I don't know nastiness and
Swamp.
swamp muck, moss, freaking whatever, swamp seaweed? I don't know anything. Just covered. I'm a swamp monster.
Strange algae.
We gotta hurry or else we're gonna lose sight of them.
Are you okay?
Oh
I start,
yeah,
I
no,
start,
I'm fine.
I start like peeling off, the various, friendly animals that have claimed your shell as a home. Various lizards,
Snails and
frogs,
stuff.
and eels, and yeah, lichen and all that kind of stuff, and branches.
I can't see very well, so you'll have to leave me.
No worry, no
Oh,
problem. Hold on to my shoulder.
And then,
or not.
as you guys are preparing to leave, Rockbeak, you feel something in the back of your shell, like something's inside your shell slightly.
Inside my shell?
Just not like deep inside of it, just at the back of your neck, basically where a collar of a shirt would be.
Can I reach it with my hands?
No, your stubby little Rockbeak.
Somebody help me! There's something crawling down in my shell.
I stop, and I quickly.
We tried to.
I
Yeah, we
can't
tried to.
reach it. Help! I'm
Yeah.
just futilely trying. My little stubby arms can't reach
Stop
it.
moving. I'll try. Yeah, I'll try and dart my hand in there, trying to. I might regret it, but I'll try to dart my hand in there, trying to find what is what is it?
Something snaps onto you and bites you, and it hurts your finger. It hurts very bad, and it is attached to your finger at this point.
Oh, okay. I shriek and scream as I begin to smash this thing and just crush it against the nearest tree. Like just like smacking against a tree.
You see everyone sees Anir smacking this thing. It's just a baby snapping turtle.
I then like as it falls down, I just clutch my hand and I just give it a hoof and I kick it back in the water.
Yeah.
What was
I
that?
kind of like take your hand and inspect it.
It bit me.
And did it take a finger off? Are you all right?
You're not missing anything, are you?
No, it's okay. I'm just sort of like stretching my hand. I think that's okay. Do we have any more? I kind of peer into the shell, except wearily now.
I concentrate on feeling if anything's crawling on me.
Nope, nothing seems to be crawling on
No,
you.
no, no. I think we're all right now.
Okay. All right, that's good. Let's go quickly. We don't have time. They're moving. How do we get across here? We're gonna have to swim. Yeah, I attempt to lead us as quickly as possible over as much dry ground as possible.
Rockbeak is. Was that one of the uh like a child of your race?
Oh God, I hope not. I just kicked it.
You max muted to kind of tell. Rockbeak. Did we lose Rockbeak again?
No, I had to switch mics. Sorry, I was talking to myself. I had to switch mics, and it was muted when I put it back in, so I'm talking to myself. What happened? I'm sorry, I missed it. I'll switch.
I'll redo it then. Rockbeak was that like a child of your race?
Was that your
Uh,
child?
no. What do I look like a woman? No, that's just a turtle.
No, I'm not saying it was yours. I just didn't know if that was another Chithon.
No. I would know if there was a Chatham breeding pool around here. No, that's just a turtle.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it doesn't have sentience. It's just a turtle.
You can sense the breeding pools.
No, I can't sense them, but I would know if there's one around here. I mean, they're pretty. You know the telltale signs of them if you grew up around them. Never mind. The slug people are getting away.
This way, over here. Jump on this log. Yeah, I'll attempt to lead us with
Yes, and with Anir's great skill in forestry and navigating things, she leads them effortlessly across with minimal water. And we will flash back over to Da as it becomes. Da wouldn't know this, but our group would, as the slugs, they follow through the slugs, and slowly early day as our Mazda comes into the day again. And then we flash to Da as they begin nearing the volcano, and one of Da's early morning strands he has sent out detects the wood that he is searching for.
Ooh. Where is it?
It is close, and it is coming closer.
Yay! So, who did I try to find? Because I was doing the order of Rockbeak, and then O'Near, and then Solitude, and then obviously, like, I'm not expecting my last one to find anything.
You were able to find you were able to find out that it was Rockbeak coming towards you with his kissing stick.
Ah, nice. Okay, right. So that's coming. All right, so that means I have pretty much I've got 5 of my prana left. And do I have any? Have I taken any damage?
No, they have
Okay.
left you unbeaten,
All right.
and you were able to recover your exhaustion as well.
Da is. Hold on. Do I have any skills in what I'm going to be doing? Yes, but I get -2 to it anyway. That's okay. I'm going to do it. So Da just kind of falls flat on his face from a standing position. Just bam.
What is Daw attempting to do?
He's attempting to guile people into thinking that he's injured and to give him medical attention.
Let's see what he rolls.
Okay.
Stranger things have happened.
Ooh, that's decent on dice. That's going to be a 9.
All right, let's see what his guards can roll against that. They just look at him and don't say anything, don't do anything, and just let him lay there.
It is lying on the ground. He's thinking, any second now.
Jesus Christ,
Any
dude.
second.
It's all going according to plan.
No.
And like he's basically just gonna and while he's down there, I don't know, he's gonna try to make a perception sight roll. Like he can't see very well, so he's gonna get -5 because he's got like poor sight because he's looking through his plant fibers. But he wants to see what weapons the guards are holding.
All right.
All right. Whoa. Eyes of Aramazda, nice. So I'm looking from the perception, which is going to be 3 -5. All right. So yeah, that's a total of 17.
All right, he recognizes they're wielding maces.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So like clubs, sort of thing. Okay. I can't use them.
They would be
Uh,
crushing
like-
weapons.
like I do have a forte in clubs, but that's not like maces are different to clubs.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, he is just going to pretend to be. He's like pretending to be dead, but then realizes, wait, if my friends see me and think that I'm dead, then it's going to be a problem for them. So he kind of sighs and then stands back up and just he's while he's clever, he's not real. Like he doesn't have many options available to him at the moment, and he is not like convincing or cunning enough. Like he's not good at like deception and master plans. He's just there being like, oh, I I know a lot about farming and trees, but I can't do any sneakiness. Oh,
And I would note that Daw is still chained up in these iron chains. They never took them off of him.
yeah. So
In fact, they've actually chained him even further, chaining his ankle to a large stone.
Okay. All right. Okay. I think I can deal with this. I'm gonna try to do a escape artist roll using sleight of hand to kind of nonchalantly free my hand, free one of my hands from the chains without the guards seeing. So I'm guessing I'm rolling sleight of hand and then guile again.
Well, I'll let you roll stealth to hide
Stealth?
to hide your actions with a hiding forte, if you have
Yeah.
any.
No, but I have skill in stealth. So I'm going to hide. I'm going to roll stealth first. Basically, so whatever they see me do with my hands that they can't see. So that's a dex +2, +4, so that's +6 to this. With an 8, then a 6. So that's 12, so that's 25. 25. To hide what I'm
They
doing
got a
with my hands.
4. They are oblivious to anything you're doing right now.
Start playing the Mission Impossible theme, boys.
Oh,
We're
man.
going for it. Right. Sleight of hand, no skill, -2 to it. No, hold on. Sleight of hand. Oh, okay. So it's just no. So it's just a flat roll for me, actually. Ah, it's a 6. Okay, but basically, I just want to keep on trying to get my hands out of it. Is that like how would I go about doing repeated attempts over what sort of time,
Mm, we
or do I just
will
work, or do I just work on my legs
over
instead, or and do better roll?
over time. We will
Mm.
let you get it out over time. Like you just keep working at it and working at it and working at it, but it's not going to be a fast process at all. It's going to take you
Yeah,
a
like
while.
I'm gonna have to break my wrist to get out, or like break my thumb. It'll heal almost immediately with my health gauge. Uh, Sort of buff thing for my species, but it's gonna hurt like a bugger. So I guess I roll Barber.
I'll let you go ahead and roll conditioning to not make any noise from breaking your own thumb,
Okay,
and then after that, I will just let you have it.
all right. Well, that's not a good roll. Lucky I've got a lot of stuff in that. So with conditioning, it's going to be a 14 to just go up to the side of the rock, swing my hand backward and forward, and just crack.
You do let out a small audible grunt against your best efforts to
Yeah,
remain quiet, but they don't seem to notice.
just to sell it, I'm going to fall over again.
They
rolling,
have basically at
rolling.
this point just started fully ignoring you, thinking you're. They have no clue what you're doing, and they don't really care. Um, you, they're just like, oh well, just let the prisoner roll around on the ground or whatever he's doing, and
Awesome. They're exactly the sort of guards that I want. Perfect. So I got my hand out of the I've got my hand out of the manacles, and I guess I'll try to, just mosey along behind the rock, I guess, and take off the feet thing.
all right, it is locked. It has like
Okay.
a large lock on it.
Right, large lock.
It is like chafing against your ankle. It's very uncomfortable.
It's
It's
tight,
extremely.
yeah. Yeah, and I got big clunky feet, so I don't think I'll be able to squeeze it out. And I don't think I'll be able to break my foot to get it off, which I'd have to take my entire lower leg clean off to do that.
Basically.
Could I roll mechanic to try to pick the lock?
What are you going to use to pick it?
Could I? You know how I can grow roots from my feet? Could I try to pick it with one of those, like snapped off or something?
I'll let you try to pick it with your
Wait, did they take my quills? Did they take the poison quills? Obviously they took the
Yes,
poison quills. Okay.
yes. You have
Yeah.
no equipment.
Yeah. Okay.
I will let you attempt that, but with an additional -4 to your roll.
All right. That's okay. I can deal with -4 to this. So it's only going to be. Yeah. All right. It's only going to be a +1. Oh, okay. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. That is a 12.
All right, you sit back there and go to town on it, but no luck in getting it open.
Okay. Right.
And you actually
Um.
break your pick on it.
Damn it. Okay. Uh. Are there any rocks nearby which are heavier than pumice stone?
Mm, they're the only rocks nearby are small pebbles.
Small pebbles?
Yes.
Okay. This gives me an idea. So, bear with me. I'm going to take off one of my rags, which is part of like my poncho sort of thing,
Alright.
and I'm going to start gathering up rocks.
This is slowly starting to draw the attention of the guards now that you're gathering things into your rag.
Yeah, okay. I am... So, again, going to roll Guile. I am going to essentially tantrically, like, just sort of hum and chant in Thruxan. But I'm not going to be spending any prana for it. It's just going to be random chanting along the lines of by the Four Seasons, by the forests of Yulnok. Basically just made up theological drivel to pretend that I'm doing a ritual.
All right, let's see how this turns out.
Do you want me to roll theology? Please? I'm good at that. Nah, Guile is it.
Yeah, to trick them into believing you.
Yeah. Ah, shit. Damn it, that's a 4.
All right, as you're doing this, one of them approaches you and smacks the rag out of your hand, knocking all your rocks loose, and they go tumbling, and a couple of them splash into the lava on off the edge of your little island here.
Oh, I fall over again.
He kicks you.
Okay. Ow. But I fell on my so I can hide if I can get my hands cut down. Free. Ah, shit. Dude.
He kicks you and then says something more ghoulish, then walks off.
Okay. Yeah, I get the picture. Right, okay. So Dar is, I don't know, just gonna only pick up one rock.
All right.
And he's gonna get a rag. And he's gonna just have that rock and he's gonna be holding it with the rag. He's going to make a makeshift slingshot.
All right.
And he's gonna be holding it in one hand. I'm torn to whether, I don't know, I'm torn as to whether I do the whole throw a pebble somewhere and they're like, what's that? or do I or, or do I wait for somebody to kind of like come or whatever so I can take them out? or like I've got no skill in slingshots though, so this is a long okay. Man, this is tough. All right. Yeah, okay. So, sure, I'll do a projectile check to throw this in a place, hopefully where they can't see. So that one of them goes to. Yeah. Would that be a projectile roll or athletics roll
Yeah.
to throw something?
I'll let you pick whichever one you want.
Oh, definitely athletics. All right. Let's do this with a +2. Ah, shit. That's a total of 4.
You throw it, and it just splashes into the lava.
Okay. Did they see me? Did they see me do it?
No, they didn't see you do it, but they just like something splashed into the lava, which is not uncommon. Things occasionally fall from the roof, like small rocks and whatnot, every once in a while and stuff. It's doesn't really draw any attention.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. I'm just looking through everything which my character can do, and I don't think Prison Break is one of them. Okay. No, there is something which I can do. Right. Okay. So, I am going to go back into my meditation position and try to contact grandfather because I'm out of ideas. to be like, "Hey, Granddad, help! How do I get out of this?" And that's all the options that I have. I've exhausted all of my options. So yeah, I guess I can pass it back to the rest of the team while I don't know. I meditate for grandfather to come and pick me up. Pick me up, Granddad. I'm scared.
And then the rest, your rescuers, creep up to the edge of the volcano now in the early morning light as you see the morning star rise in the distance and your small army of slugs continues dutifully marching towards the volcano.
What do you think's gonna happen when they get there? I just look in astonishment of this caravan of sliminess.
Oh,
They are carrying Daw's staff with them.
well, I mean,
Oh.
I guess we're gonna find out.
We have to be ready to act quickly to save Da, if need be,
I
from
think we
them
need
trying
to.
to execute him.
Yes, I think we need to find a way to get around them. If there is some sort of confrontation or some sort of fight, then we need to run inside as quickly as possible.
Oh, you could start by throwing one of those stones you like to throw and then running. You're very fast.
Yes, yes, but I don't want to go there
That'll give
alone.
us,
It'd be better if we go
of course,
together.
you won't be alone. That'll just be enough to give time for someone else to rush over there with you.
Sounds good. Okay. As we're starting to approach the great mountain, the jungle starts to get a bit sparser as the rocks start to geological formations of the rocks start to become more and more prominent in the terrain. I will attempt to lead us. Um, well, you climb very well, all of you. So I think we should be able to get up this ledge here and another one above that, and we might be able to get some height. We'll see. Okay. So I will attempt to lead us very carefully as a approaching the one of the paths or the main path up the mountain. I hope that's where they're going. Um, I will attempt to take a parallel route that's not up a trail, but is up just sheer rock faces. Climb up that and try and get trying to get various interesting or tactile vantage points and at leading the way and trying to help up anyone who may need help climbing this side. It's gonna be
All
difficult.
of you being fairly competent climbers, you're able to make it up. It's not a sheer cliff, and there's different rocks you can use to boost yourself up, and you are able to get up here with a fairly good vantage point
Yeah,
as you move along.
I do use the vine rope bundle, which I do have on my person in my gear, and I make various I will climb up like a ledge and then I'll tie it off and cut it off and then allow it to be easily climbed up by the rest.
And as you move along, you get this good vantage point of everything that's happening, and you follow along as the slugs do. Um, Eventually, they find the path and begin following the path and follow it up towards where the salamanders are.
Okay.
What As you go further and follow them further, you see eventually the perimeter guards of the salamanders are alerted to the presence of the slugs, and one of them goes back and begins signaling the rest. And as the slugs approach the perimeter guards, they raise up the staff and start chanting Daw's name again and again and again.
I think this is our chance. There might be there might be violence, but or they may be able to get them out. I good.
How many slugs are there here, by the way?
Mm, There's roughly 20, some around 20 slugs in this war party.
Do you think one of us should join in with a distraction from them as well while you sneak around, or?
Yeah, I'll go with the slug people.
It could
I'll
be
kill some
dangerous.
salamanders.
I kind of grab you, pull you close. It could be dangerous. I don't know how
Yeah,
well
I'm
the
hoping
slug
not.
people. I don't know how well the slug people can fight, but
Listen, I ain't no sneaker. I can't be stealthy. I'll go in there and kill as many as I can. Just get Daw out.
Solitude, will you come with me?
Yes, of course. You've taught me enough that I think I could make it with you.
You've learned well. Right. Alright. Rockbeak, damn it, take care of yourself. Okay?
Yeah, don't worry about me. Just gotta get Daw out of here.
I kind of just nuzzle the top of your beak. That smelly beak. I just nuzzle it, and I kind of push you away. Go.
I go
Upon
off some-
hearing upon hearing Anir's praise for me, I can't help but my face glows a little bit, smile a bit, but I kind of try to have to control my emotions a little as not to make too much of a light when I'm trying to be sneaking.
Right. Okay. So, yeah. So Rocky, I assume he's gonna just run over and join the slug party. As we were going to continue to climb up the side of the mountain, and yeah, just get up to the ledge as quickly as possible, and try to get to the point where I managed to climb up when I was spying um over the ritual where I saw Kel was baptized in the flame. I'm trying to go to the same sort of route I went last time because that was a really good vantage point. I could look down at the entire scene. Um, that's going to be the direction we're going to head towards.
And you were able to find this vantage point again without much difficulty. And as for Rockbeak, what is Rockbeak going to do? Is he going to go just straight down into the mass of slugs, or
Yeah, he's joining the slugs. He's just basically he's rank and file. He's joining the slugs, and when they charge or what they're doing, he's gonna go help them.
as you hear one of the salamanders in Thuban actually speak out and say, "Back out of your way. Go back to the swamp from which you came." And the slugs just keep chanting Doll's name.
Um, I guess I can. Rockbeat can start things going. He can start this revolution going. This prison break. Um,
That's out.
since these slugs are just sitting there, I guess he'll go up there and he'll go da blah 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 chichu, and then he'll charge. He'll charge the salamanders.
I like to
All right.
think that was exactly what was that was exactly what was said. Blah 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 blah. Whatever.
Yep, that's exactly what he said because he can't pronounce the name.
All right, roll reaction.
Oh shit!
Oh crackers! Where's my oh awesome! I got a whopping +1. Oh yeah, it's a 7.
All right. As they see you do the charge and the slugs falling behind you, the salamanders clash. The perimeter guard clashes with the slugs as one of the salamanders brings his mace around, trying to make a connection into Rockbeak. and make a defense roll, Rockbeak.
23.
And he got a 21 on attack, so he does just barely miss. As his mace actually does connect with Rockbeak, and it hits, but it bounces off of his iron shell.
Yeah.
Uh, it's just more like a bit hitting a heavy drum or gong, as the dung of the metal and reverberates back through the mace, shaking the salamander's arm a bit. As another comes and is about to bring a mace down upon him, but is then intercepted by a spit of acid to the face by one of the slugs.
Oh,
As
yeah, Goose Look, man.
they begin pouring over, overwhelming the perimeter guard, and now it is Rockbeak's turn.
All right, Rockbeak is going to take a chunk out of the one who smacked him. He's
All
going to
right.
bite him. He is going to bite him. So let me see. That is a 21 on attack.
He is dead. Take it away, Rock.
All right. Rockbeak, he takes the opportunity as his salamander spew with acid and he's like recoiling and all that. He takes the opportunity to knock the salamander on the ground and then proceeds to jump on top of him and tear his throat out with his
As Rockbeak
beak.
tears the throat of the salamander out, and blood spews all over him. And then he hears the squishy noises of the slugs as they slide across the corpses of salamanders, leaving slime in their trail, marching ever forward, chanting Daw's name. The entire camp has now been alerted to the battle on hand after the perimeter guards have been overcome.
I yell in Thuban, da da ti blah blah, and go with the slugs. I try to make as much noise as possible.
Which you are proficient at doing, if nothing
Yes,
else.
I'm very proficient.
What's he doing? I scream inwardly to Solitude. This is meant to be a distraction.
As you guys see
Just,
that
we should trust him.
Quickly.
a bulk of the salamanders do come forward to meet Rockbeak's advance, and in the distance, you see a ship anchored near, like a little ways offshore, outside the coral reef that surrounds the island.
I stop and I stare out and I point towards it. What is that?
I suppose it can only really be one thing.
It's the
As then
sirens.
you see a salamander light a fire, like a bonfire, and then from the ship, dinghies begin approaching the island.
Alright, not knowing what this means, but there's something coming. We have to go now. No. I start to quicken the pace as much as possible. Climbing. Trying to get up the side of the mountain as quickly as possible. And, yeah. Get to Da, or at least get to the entrance of the cave.
Do we recognize on the ship at all anything to do with the trappings and sirens of like the slave ship we came on?
This is nothing like the slave ship you were brought onto the island of. You can tell that much.
I'm gonna follow in here. Yeah.
And Da, we'll switch to you shortly, as you see you hear a ruckus begin, and as this ruckus begins, you hear the footsteps of your jailers begin moving away from you rapidly.
Do I perhaps hear my name being chanted?
Not yet. You're not to that point yet.
Well, all I know is that my captors have seemingly left. So, breaking through this stupid lock. Yeah, so I'm just going to try to just do one last mechanics check on the lock with another one of my with another one of my just like sticks, root sticks, or something.
All right, let's see it and let's see if you can get that done.
All right, so that is actually not too bad. Oh no, it's gonna be the same as last time. Actually, 12.
Still not quite enough.
Yeah, just fiddling around. He's
As,
just gonna. Yeah, he's. How big is this rock they tied me to?
um, it's big enough that he couldn't lift it. It's
Could I?
but
Had is it vaguely like ovoid?
yes.
I'm gonna try to push the rock into the lava. Hopefully, it'll melt the iron.
All right.
Oh Jesus, Dog's gonna get himself killed.
Listen. It won't sink immediately. The thing with lava is that like it's actually quite dense. Even if a rock will float on it for a decent amount of time.
This is
I'm
like
not sure if
Morgul's
this is.
freaking. This is Morgul's cum though. It's like gonna suck him right in and kill you.
I might. Yeah, I'm gonna get cocky by another creator, but I'm ready. Right? I need to get out there because I won't have many other chances to escape.
As he begins pushing the rock, he hears his name being chanted vaguely in the distance.
Oh, okay. No, now I'm gonna push hard.
As he pushes harder and harder, and Brockbeak leads his charge. You see the salamanders on the horizon as the slugs charge forward, and Nier and Solitude walk along the edge as a rock after rock almost gives out here and there, but they make their way around. We will wrap up our session here tonight and leave with a cliffhanger. As the battle with salamanders will happen again when we come back next time on the Island of the Lost. And we will hit with soliloquies. And today we will start with solitude.
So as we're creeping along, I'm I sort of after getting looking and seeing, making sure that the ship wasn't the slave ship, I felt a little relieved. But then I looked to an ear at my side. It's it's we've never had such a big scale battle, I suppose it would be. But in this moment, I'm sort of reflecting on how I say I'm willing to do anything for my friends. I like to think that a lot. And I do believe it. But now is the time for my actions to speak for me. I know that there's going to be a lot of death here, and a lot for me to clean up afterwards in the other realm. I'm not sure if we're going to lose any loved ones or not. And I'm also not sure if this this thing keeps coming to my head that the way I'm feeling, if I were to die, I'm unsure if Anir knows how I feel about her. That's bothering me more than I thought it would. Although the teachings that I've been taught, it's cannot allow my feelings to corrupt me. I can't let these things sway me. I felt like I've had control over myself for so long, and now it feels like my mind is fading a little at times. It's like this rush of emotion that I'm not used to, and I suppose it's not a bad thing because I feel like I can express myself better that way, which is only a thing I've found in poetry up until now. I can't let this end for us, for my friends. Even if it comes down to it, I'll die for them. I'm not sure if I'll ever have the words to really describe how I feel. Not in a way that they'd understand. As clever as Anir is, I've never been able to really be understood by much of anyone when I try to relay information. So my actions here in this battle, I pray that this is how I'll be known and what my feelings truly mean. It's sort of funny how it all comes back down to combat and fighting, killing. Something that's never really interested me. And now I feel the weight of even more now. But I'm not going to cower from this path. I'm not going to run from it. It's a lot easier to make promises, to make speeches that you're going to stay resolved. I believe in Rockbeak. And I hope that he can carry on and do what he plans to as well. And if one of us dies, then I know that, well, the others will at least be here to carry on for us. So that we can reach a happy ending somehow. That's the best I can hope for. The thing that's going to keep me going is believing in the end after the end, the seemingly possible destination now. But I can't let anyone know that I'm feeling this way, that I'm feeling doubt, because then that would be letting them down. And that's that.
And with that, we will next hear from Daw, the speaking tree.
Sorry, was I supposed to be next? Sorry,
Yes. You're
Sorry,
next.
sorry. Yeah, so Da is training this bold. Just he's had a chance over like a couple days to bring down his exhaustion, so he's back up to relative, relative sort of levels of like back up to relative sort of levels of being just lucid. Um, so he's got his shoulder against this rock, and he's just pushing with all his might, which isn't very much, but it's like he's He's hearing his friends chant his name. He's a little bit confused by the amount of voices. And the sound of the voices. Who are they? That sounds awfully familiar, but it doesn't sound like the townsfolk. I wonder. It sounds like they're pronouncing it in Thraxa. There can't be more orcs here. What? I've been addled by the heat and by lack of food, or they're just. I need to be with my friends and make sure they know that I'm safe. If I can stop this bloodshed, hopefully, we can all leave and we can make these beasts know that we are not to be trifled with. So they will just leave us alone and serve their gods. I have come too far, too far, and have too much to do to be taken down, to be burned as a log on a campfire. Now, this is not how my heart shall end. This is not how Jung requires me to give my life in service, to give my life for the betterment of the forest. I am far from the place where I would call home. I am not going to finish here. As he puts his shoulder against the boulder and goes, well, I'm going to give it another heave. With his 13 strength, I don't think he can body slam a boulder just yet, but he's giving it his all, trying to roll it to a place where he can melt through his chains. Yeah, that's the end of my soliloquy.
And with that, we shall hand it over to none other than Rockbeak, the Iron Shell, as we hear what he has to say this day.
Well, as Rockbeak is standing amongst his newly formed slug comrades, as he sees the fallen salamanders, a fire glows in his eye. Not the reflection of the fires and lava, but a fire inside, the fire of camaraderie, the spirit of friendship, and he can't help but to smile, seeing these slugs just overwhelm the salamanders and acid flying, and he just can't help but think that they stand a chance of freeing Da. But then he looks out to the ocean, and he sees Leviathan sitting there, and on top of him, skimming across Leviathan, are these ships, and he knows that these are more salamanders, and he can't help but smile wider. The thought of more combat to be done. These salamanders are almost no better than the sirens and the slavers. They seek to enslave and kill people in the name of their deity, or whatever their meaning, whatever their reason is. They seek to kill innocent people, his friend being one of them. And just like what he did with the siren, with the enforcers, he's going to break the chains that these salamanders have held on this island for so long, enslaving the island itself, even kidnapping people, sacrificing them to whatever lurks beneath the lava, and he will wipe his beak and spit the viscera and gore from him as he stands over the massive salamander that he had felled, and he will let out a scream, a fearful roar. He will chant Daw's name as he will charge with these slugs, and they will be victorious or they will die together, brothers in arms. And he just a quick glance up the side of the mountain. He can't see them, but he knows that Anir and Solitude are there, and he hopes beyond hope that this some would say suicidal act of rebellion, but he hopes that this distraction is enough to give them time to find Dog and to free him and to hopefully escape is what Rockbeak hopes. He hopes they won't be foolish enough to try to help them. But he returns his gaze to the task at hand, and he doesn't have time to worry about such things. Him and his slug comrades have salamanders to deal with, and chains that need breaking. And that'll be that.
All right, and with that, we will hear from Anir.
As Anir gazes across the vista, as she watches in in awe and in fear and trepidation as Rockbeak launches himself into the fray for the battle of the sludge on the Fire Mountain. As she sees his friend, her friend, dive off bravely into the fray. She says to herself, she gazes out, "Don't you dare hurt yourself. Make sure you come back." As she wipes away the glistening, watery eyes, she turns and looks over the great vista of the ocean and that strange ship and the strange little boats that come from it, not knowing what it means, not knowing what any of this means or what she's doing. I don't know what has come over me today, but I don't know what I feel inside, but I feel inside this bravery, this assurity in what I'm doing. There's been so much chaos on this island, but always the thing which has proven true, proven to be the shining light is us, our friends, our family. As she climbs harder and harder up the slope, "Duh, I will find you, we will rescue you, we will bring you back, and we will destroy anyone that would seek to harm us ever again." I feel so sure now. Everything is so clear. It doesn't matter what else is going on. It matters that you're safe. It matters that we're safe. And it matters that we get off this island. And it matters. And I feel a warmth as I'm scaling up the mountain. I feel the sun. And it comes not from the orb in the sky, but it comes from Solitude, her shining beacon. And I feel so calmed by her presence. And I feel so fine that I have you here with me. Come, Solitude. Let's go rescue Da. And I grab her hand and pull her up as we begin to scale up the mountain. "We're coming for you, Da. We're going to get you out of here. We are going to get off this island. And we are all going to get away." Nothing will stop us. Nothing. And despite the excitement, the chaos, and the nervousness, there is a smile on Nia's face as she rushes forward to do the right thing.
And then we'll see a dark place, illuminated only by a single flame. And a voice. They were given chance after chance, yet they still stand in our way. As such is their wish, they will burn, screaming, ready my boat. And then we will see you all next time for Island of the Lost. Will Daw get dragged into the lava with his boulder? Will Anir and Solitude find their way? Will Rockbeak lead the Slug Revolution? Find out next time on Island of the Lost.
Episode
Goodbye,
13, the Battle of the Sludge. Amazing. Amazing.